You ever set one of those huge, life-changing goals? You know, I'm gonna run a marathon, or I'm finally gonna master Spanish. You're all fired up, and then, a week later, nothing. If that sounds familiar, you're in good company. But what if I told you the problem isn't you? It's not your motivation or your willpower, it's your strategy. What if the real secret to making massive change is actually to start thinking, well, incredibly small? Take a look at this number, 92%. That is a huge number. According to research, that's the percentage of New Year's resolutions that ultimately fail. So that feeling of not quite hitting the mark, it's not just a you thing. It's pretty much a human thing. We aim for the stars, and an awful lot of the time, we don't even get off the ground.
So, what gives? Why is it so incredibly difficult to make a change stick? It's definitely not because we don't want it enough. The real problem is we try to do too much, way too fast. We go from 0 to 100, and that just sets off all the alarm bells in our brain. It's like we're trying to leap up a mountain in a single bound, and our brain, very wisely, just slams on the brakes.
But what if there was another way? A kind of counterintuitive approach that actually works with our brain instead of fighting against it. And it all begins with something that sounds, honestly, almost ridiculously simple.
Meet the micro-habit. This is the big idea. It's an action that is so tiny, so small, it barely even registers as effort. The whole point is to make it, and this is the key phrase, too small to fail. It's designed to just sneak right past your brain's natural resistance to change. It takes so little effort that you're not asking yourself, can I do this? You're asking, well, why wouldn't I do this? Well, let's look at what this actually means. On the left, you've got those giant, intimidating goals we always set. You know, run 5 miles every day. But look at the right. That's the micro-habit version. It's not run 5 miles. It's just put on running shoes. That's it. It's not meditate for 30 minutes. It's meditate for 1 minute. See the shift? You're not focused on the massive outcome. You're just focused on the first tiny step, on showing up consistently. Now, this might sound like just a clever little mind trick, but it's not. The power of doing less is actually grounded in some pretty solid science about how our brains work, and believe it or not, some simple math. This quote from James Clear's fantastic book, Atomic Habits, just nails it. The compound effect is an incredible force of nature. Getting just 1% better at something feels like nothing on day 1 or day 10. But those tiny gains start to stack on top of each other, and over a year, they explode into this massive exponential growth. And micro-habits, they're the engine that drives that 1% improvement.
So what's really going on up there in your head? This part is so cool. There's this principle in neuroscience. Neurons that fire together wire together. Think of it like this. The first time you do a new action, it's like trying to walk through tall grass. It's tough. But every single time you repeat that tiny action, you're tamping down that path a little more. You're strengthening that connection in your brain. Do it enough times, and it's no longer a faint trail, it's a superhighway. The behavior becomes automatic. You are literally, physically rewiring your own brain.
So here's why this strategy is a game changer. Micro-habits succeed because 1, they're so small they don't trigger our natural resistance to change. 2, every time you complete one, you get a small win, which reinforces this identity of, I'm the kind of person who follows through. And maybe most important of all, they pretty much take motivation and willpower out of the equation. And that's huge because willpower is like a battery. It runs out. You can't rely on it every single day.
Okay, so the why makes sense, right? Now let's get to the how. Here is a super simple 3-step framework you can use to start building your own micro-habits, like right now.
It really just comes down to these 3 things. To build a habit that sticks, you need to make it obvious, make it easy, and make it rewarding. Let's dig into what each of those actually means. All right, step 1, make it obvious. This is all about setting up your environment so the cue to do the habit is just staring you in the face. You want to drink more water? Don't stick your water bottle in the back of the fridge. Put it on your desk where you work. Put another one by your bed. The bottle itself becomes the trigger. Your environment does the work for you, so you don't even have to think about it. Step 2, make it easy. I mean, ridiculously easy. Your job is to remove every single bit of friction between you and the action. You want to work out first thing in the morning? What's the biggest hurdle? Probably getting out of your warm bed and putting on cold gym clothes. The solution? Sleep in your workout clothes. You wake up and you are literally ready to go. You've just eliminated the biggest excuse.
And finally, step 3, and this one is absolutely crucial. Make it rewarding. Our brains are wired to repeat behaviors that feel good. So, the moment you finish your micro-habit, you need to give yourself some kind of immediate reward. We're not talking about a big fancy prize. Let's say your habit is to floss one tooth.
After you do it, you can check it off in a habit app and hear that satisfying little ding, or just give yourself a genuine mental high five. That tiny burst of positive feeling tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do that again. Now, this all sounds pretty good, but there's a big question hanging in the air, right? If I'm just putting on my running shoes or reading 1 page a day, how long does it take before I actually see, real results?
Yeah, this is the question everyone wants to know, isn't it? We've all heard that magic number that gets thrown around, but the truth is a little bit more interesting, and honestly, it's way more free.
Okay, first things first, let's just debunk this right now. The whole "it takes 21 days to form a habit" thing, it's a myth. It came from one doctor's observations in the 1960s, and somehow it just stuck. It was never based on rigorous, broad scientific study, so we can just let that one go.
So, what does the actual science say? Well, a major study that looked at a ton of different research on this topic found that, on average, it takes about 66 days for a new behavior to become truly automatic. So think more like 2 months, not 3 weeks.
But, and this is the most important part, that 66 days is just an average. The real range in that study was anywhere from 18 days all the way up to 254 days. It depends on the person, the habit, the situation, everything. So the big takeaway here is to forget the number. Don't worry about the deadline. The only thing that matters, the only thing that works, is focusing on not breaking the chain. Just show up today.
And that really brings us to the heart of it all. Consistency will always beat intensity. It is not about that one heroic 6-hour workout that leaves you sore for a week. It's about the small, simple act of showing up and getting that tiny win day after day after day. That's what builds momentum. That's what creates massive change.
So, let's bring this all home. The question isn't about some massive life overhaul you're going to start on Monday. The question is, for you, right now, what is one tiny, almost laughably small action you can take today to get just 1% better? What's your 2-minute win?